In Belgium, Henry Brogan, 51-year-old former Force Recon Marine Scout sniper, working as a killer for the Defense Intelligence Agency, is sent to assassinate a bioterrorist who is on board a train. His spotter, a young DIA agent named Marino, is also on the train, relaying the speed and distance to the hit. Henry prepares his rifle and loads one bullet, not intending to miss. The train comes into view, and all looks well until a little girl walks in between Henry and his target. The shot is delayed due to this, until the girl finally moves and Henry shoots his target just in time. Afterwards, Henry and Marino are cleaning up, with Marino excited about Henry's hit, claiming it to be his best yet. He shows Henry a video he captured on the train, which shows that the man was actually shot in the neck instead of the head. But Henry urges him to delete the video. Later, Henry burns the picture of his target, marking it complete, before going back to his solitary life at a remote cabin. While there, he gets a motion alarm, and he is visited by his DIA handler and close friend Patterson. Due to not hitting the target where intended, Henry thinks that he is getting old and plans to retire, planning to leave the game to the younger generation of killers. Henry tells Patterson about the little girl, indicating how close she came to losing her life. He recalls his 72 confirmed kills, and notes that this is starting to get to him. The next day, Henry goes by the docks where he meets the new boat rental manager Danny, who starts up a conversation with him. It is here revealed that Henry is allergic to bees when he sends one to bee heaven. Henry sails his boat to meet with a massive yacht, owned by former Marine comrade Jack, where they catch up on old times. Later, Jack shows Henry a picture of the bioterrorist Valerie, asking if he knows who he really is. Jack then shockingly reveals that Valerie was actually a Russian bioengineer, and the file that Henry was given was spiked. Henry is in disbelief and demands to talk with Jack's contact, and Jack agrees to get them connected. Henry then spots a shimmer in the sky, which actually turns out to be a drone. On the other side, DIA Director Lassiter and military contractor Clay Veris are listening in on their conversation. Lassiter is planning to have Henry contained using DIA protocol, but Veris is worried that Jack's contact will lead Henry right back to them. Veris wants control of the operation to terminate Henry, noting that he has the agent capable of taking out Henry, but Lassiter refuses, telling him that she will get a team on it. Henry is back on his boat, still worried about the glimmer he saw in the sky. He then realizes that his speed gauge is loose and finds a tracking device hidden there. Henry returns to the docks where he shows Danny the tracker, accusing her of being DIA. Danny denies knowing anything and gets defensive. Henry then backs down a bit, apologizing and asking Danny to meet him by the docks so they can talk. Later, Henry meets with Danny, handing her flowers, then showing her an image of her DIA ID, forcing her to admit. Danny turns out to be former Navy-turned-DIA, who was tasked with tailing Henry, who wonders if it doesn't bother her since he is just trying to retire. After the dinner, Danny asks Henry his reason for retiring, and he tells her that his conscience caught up to him. That night at sea, Jack is on his yacht when he gets suspicious and gets his gun. He is attacked by men, killed, and dumped over the side of the boat. Henry is awakened by his motion alarm and spots men approaching his home in the dark. He calls Jack and gets no response, then calls Marino. He warns Marino to escape his apartment, but then hears gunshots over the phone. The team of DIA operatives approach the house, but Henry manages to kill them all. Danny wakes up with Henry in her room and holds a gun to him. He tells her about the men sent to kill him, but Danny denies knowing anything about the hit. Henry warns her that she's next and tells her to get ready. Danny runs to her office to get the keys to a boat, but she gets ambushed by a DIA operative. She decides to fight, and the two begin to struggle. She is being thrown around, but when the man is distracted by the sound of gunshots outside, Danny gets the upper hand, locking his arms, then his legs, before holding a gun to him, demanding to know who sent him. Henry comes to her, and she reveals that Lassiter sent the men. Before they leave, Henry warns her that she will be leaving everything behind, but without a thought, she throws her phone into the sea and the two sail away. Lassiter and Veris get photos of the failed operation and decide to give Veris a shot. Veris's company is called Gemini, and he promises to release a new breed of soldier, one capable of taking Henry down. Henry and Danny stop off at a small island to rest up. She asks him if his own government ever tried killing him before, but Henry tells her this is all new. They are interrupted by an incoming plane, who turns out to be Henry's associate the Baron, also former Black Ops. He is shocked to hear that Jack may be dead, and offers them a place to hide out. Patterson is in a meeting with his son at school, when he gets a phone call from Henry demanding answers. Patterson admits that Marino and Jack are dead, but swears to have no hand in the attack. He tells Henry about Varys and Lassiter working together and reveals that Valerie was working as a scientist at Gemini. Henry accuses Patterson of using him to take out innocent targets and refuses to come in, despite Patterson pleading with him to. After, Dany tells what she knows about Gemini, knowing them to be a private military company. Henry explains that both he and Baron served under Varys in the military, and he had tried to hire them when he started Gemini. The three arrive in Columbia, where Henry tells them how Varys had taken him out to sea, knowing his fear of water, and told him to tread water. Henry had ended up dying for a few minutes before being resuscitated. The next morning, Henry awakens and spots movement on a nearby roof. He grabs his gun and rushes to Dany, telling her that a sniper is nearby. He tells Baron to take care of Dany, and decides to leave to draw the sniper away from them. As he walks along the street, he spots the figure trailing him, and opens fire, and the two shoot at each other. Henry draws the man further away, before grabbing his scoped assault rifle, where he is shocked to see that the assassin has his face. Henry then takes off after him, almost cornering on the roofs until the man escapes in a barrage of gunfire. Henry spots the assassin approaching him and throws a bomb as a diversion. Henry is shot at and falls from the roof with the man hot in his tail. Henry steals a bike and takes off at top speed, weaving through the narrow streets to escape. The assassin manages to shoot Henry in the arm, who takes off once more. Henry manages to disable the assassin's bike, but the man expertly steals another before continuing the chase. The assassin runs out of bullets, so he catches up with Henry and the two struggle until Henry is thrown off. The man returns and begins to knock Henry around with his bike, but Henry avoids a fatal strike skillfully. The assassin then sends his bike flying at Henry, but the cops turn up and arrest Henry, while the assassin disappears. Dany and Baron see the assassin's cap, wondering who he really is. Henry is held in a cell before Dany gets him released, pretending to take him into DIA custody. The three go to a rooftop where Henry wants Baron to get him to Budapest, where Jack's informant Yuri lives. Baron gets a friend to loan them a Gulf Stream. On the flight, Dany wonders if Henry had a child, noting that the assassin looks strangely similar to him. Henry agrees, saying that it was like seeing a ghost from his past. In the US, Varys is at home when the young assassin appears, wanting to talk to him about his last target. The assassin, Junior, never got a good look at Henry's face, but thinks that he knew every move he would make, which freaked him out. He asks Varys who his target really is, but Varys deflects, telling him that what he is feeling is fear, and he needs to overcome it. The next day, Junior is observing a Gemini training program when Varys arrives, telling that Henry is in Budapest, and ordering him to take him out. In Budapest, Dany meets with a contact and hands over samples from both Junior and Henry for DNA testing. After, she meets with Baron and Henry where she reveals that she had his DNA tested, and that Junior is actually the clone of Henry. Henry gets to meet with Yuri, wanting an explanation about his hit on Valerie. Yuri explains that Varys lured Valerie from Russia, funded his cloning lab, then had Henry terminate him when he tried to return to Russia. Varys was able to clone Henry a few years ago, and raised Junior like his own son, training him to be the perfect assassin. Yuri wants him and Henry to work together to take Varys down before his experiments become mass-produced. But when Henry wonders why they don't send a missile, Yuri explains that Henry will be that missile. Dany wants Henry to meet and talk with Junior before things get worse, noting that he would be their best shot against Varys. A few days later, Lassiter is in a coffee shop when a delivery man comes to her with a message from Henry, indicating that he knows her daily routine down to a T. Henry then calls her, lying that he has shooters around her. He tells her that he is holding Dany, who wants to return to the DIA safely. Lassiter agrees, but Henry tells her he will only hand Dany over to Junior. That night, Henry and Dany arrive at the handover spot, and she leaves Henry in the car to stand in the open. Dany sees Junior and goes to meet with him, stunned by his similarity to Henry. He then has her take off her clothes and searches her thoroughly for a wire. Junior then calls Henry, giving him a meeting location and threatening to kill Danny if she does not show. Junior has Danny drive a cab, where she tries to get to know him, but Junior ignores her questions. He brings her to the catacombs where he plans to kill Henry, and prepares a trap and takes out the lights. Junior puts on night vision and a gas mask, then has Danny bound herself. Danny again tries to get him to understand that Gemini is lying to him, but Junior tapes her mouth shut. There is an explosion, and Junior's night vision is blinded by Henry, who then holds him at gunpoint. The two finally get a close look at each other, before Henry disarms him and searches him. Henry frees Danny, then warns Junior that he does not want to kill him but will if he has to. Henry then tells Junior that he knows everything about him, down to his allergies and his dislikes. He tries to convince Junior that he is a clone, but Junior refuses to accept this. Junior attacks Henry, and the two begin to fight, throwing each other around and trading blows. Danny tries to intervene, but Henry tells her not to shoot, as he tries to subdue Junior without killing him. Junior is stronger and throws Henry around, but Henry stays in the fight and holds his own with his skills. Henry manages to slam Junior, but he is relentless. Eventually, Junior manages to overpower Henry and stab him in the shoulder, but Henry causes them to fall into a pool of water. Junior holds him under, but Danny jumps into the water and is forced to shoot Junior in the arm to save Henry. Junior escapes and Danny helps an injured Henry back to Baron's car, and Henry tells them he is going after Varys. At Gemini, Varys is in his office when Junior comes by. Junior reveals that he knows that he was made in a lab, and is angry that Varys lied to him his entire life, even telling him that his parents did not want him. Varys's plan was to raise Junior exactly how Henry was raised, giving him all Henry's strengths, but none of his weaknesses. Junior breaks down in tears, and Varys hugs him, telling him not to doubt himself. Baron, Danny, and Henry arrive back in the US, and arrive at their hideout when Junior ambushes them and shoots Henry with bee venom. Henry falls over in pain, unable to breathe, until Junior gives him the antidote, stating that he wanted to make sure. Junior reveals that Varys is able to track them through an implant in Henry's arm, from a surgery he did a few years ago. Junior decides to join them in taking down Varys. On their way, Henry tells Junior about his parents and life growing up, how he met Varys and became the assassin he is today. Henry wants Junior to get out of the assassin job and to have a life before it is too late. Junior does not think he can be anything else, but Henry warns him not to become like him. Junior then gets a call from Varys, who knows he is with Henry and warns him to escape immediately. Junior ignores the warning, but as they turn the corner, a missile is fired into their van. Henry, Danny, and Junior escape, but Baron is killed in the attack. Junior takes off while Henry and Danny run for cover. A team of men led by Varys then begins to swarm the area. Junior returns to Varys trying to get him to call off the attack, but Varys refuses. A mounted machine gun then begins to fire at Henry and Danny, ripping the building apart and forcing Henry and Danny to escape. The men then rush the building, and Henry kills the first two and arm themselves. They then burst out, guns blazing, swiftly killing the men outside. Meanwhile, Junior aims his gun at Varys and tries disarming him, and the two begin to fight, with Varys overpowering him. Henry and Danny are skillfully shooting their way through the army of men, until Danny is shot in the leg and Henry has to drag her along. Junior manages to overpower Varys and hold him at gunpoint, but is unable to shoot him and knocks him out. Danny manages to bandage her leg, but more men begin to surround them. Henry uses his last bullet to kill two men, before handing Danny an axe, planning to make a last stand. Suddenly, the men closing in are shot by Junior, who came to save them. Varys wakes up on the roof, where he sends another of his assassins after Henry. The masked assassin then bursts into the room with some amazing skills, tanking shots with his bulletproof suit, and taking on both Junior and Henry with lightning moves. Henry manages to throw him back and Danny sets him on fire, but the assassin will not stay down. Junior then unloads a shotgun into his chest before he finally falls. Henry removes the assassin's helmet only to see another clone of himself. Varys then appears before them, telling Henry that he wanted an army of men as good as Henry. He tries to convince them that breeding an army of soldiers incapable of feeling pain or remorse is better than sending regular humans to die. But Henry reminds him that the clones are just as human. Junior gets angry, and is about to shoot Varys, but Henry stops him and convinces him not to go down that road. Henry then takes the shotgun and blasts Varys, killing him. Later, Henry meets with Patterson, who tells him that Gemini has been shut down and Junior is safe and untouchable. He apologizes to Henry for being involved and wishes him a happy retirement. 6 months later, Henry meets up with Danny at a college where Junior has been enrolled. He greets the two warmly before Henry hands him documents with his own new identity. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.